morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell by the title of this video, this one's going to be an absolute banger. So thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Before, obviously, we dive into the actual video, which is the Storm Revenant, obviously got to go through my checklist here, essentially. So if you do, in fact, like the video here today, make sure you drop a like on the video down below. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you're notified whenever I send out new videos. We got a couple really cool things in the works here for you guys. We have the TNT and the Eternity coming up. I just ordered those yesterday, so really looking forward to those. But also, I have, at the time of shooting this video, I have 1,197 subscribers. It would be really cool to get to 1,200. And again, I know this is probably going to be a really cool video. So again, I just hope you make sure you hit that subscription button down below. It would really help out wonders. So a huge thank you to Storm and I Am Bowling. Obviously, I Am Bowling is made the jersey that you see me wearing right now. It's actually my Thursday night shirt, Quick React. That's my Thursday night sponsor. But as you can tell, this is just a small golf course here in Wisconsin, but they will custom make any jersey that you would like. So make sure you head on over there. You can use my promo code down here. It's going to be Firehouse07. You can save yourself 20% off at checkout. They do have, as you can see, the jerseys here. They can do custom work, as you can see, or they can do, excuse me, I'm sick. Or they can do, regular jerseys, regular ball companies. They have t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies. They do also have bowling balls. That promo code that I told you about before does not work on bowling balls. That is only apparel. So that should be everything I got. Just, again, make sure you support Storm and I Am Bowling. They're a huge reason why I am able to do everything that I'm able to do right now. So just make sure you head on over and support those guys. All right, let's dive into this Storm Revenant. Now, as you can tell, I'm a really big fan of the Storm Revenant. I was a big fan of the Spectre back before, all of that happened. This Revenant has the same layout as that Spectre. It's a 60x5x30. However, I chose not to compare it to the Spectre, obviously, because it has the same specs as the Spectre. It might not be the exact same ball, it might not react exactly how the Spectre reacted, and obviously that's because the Spectre had the 1500 polish on it. The Spectre had reacted gloss, so obviously those box finishes are going to make it react. It's going to be similar, but it's not going to be 100% the exact same ball. However, it's going to be very close. So I chose not to compare it to the Spectre. I actually chose to compare it to the Axiom, Axiom Pearl, sorry. Those, on paper, the Axiom Pearl should just be a hair stronger. But yeah, that's what I'm going to compare it to. Axiom Pearl doesn't have the same layout. It's a pin through the middle finger. CG kicked out just a hair. I don't remember the exact layout on it, but those are the two balls that are going to be compared here today. But let's, I'm really excited to show you guys this. So let's dive into it. Alright, so let's talk about this Storm Revenant, and we're going to be comparing it up to the Axiom Pearl. So the first game here is going to be the Storm Revenant. So obviously this is a Storm Ball, so this does have a scent, and this is Bear Claw, which is, I personally didn't know what that scent was until, some people kind of informed me. It's actually like almost like a donut, so it does actually smell pretty good. So cover on this is the R3S Pearl. It comes out of box at the reacted gloss finish. Now I did hit it with, I think it was 2000. It was either 2000 or 3000 when I first got the ball, and then just kind of let it shine up. And once I did that and let the ball shine up, it does react, kind of fairly similar to what that Spectre did. So this cover, it's the 24th time it's ever been used and the 4th time stateside. This cover is the 18th strongest out of 27 cores, or I'm sorry, out of 27 covers. And now the core is the Vector core. This is the 3rd time it's been used, 2nd time stateside, all of which were in the Storm Spectre. So there was a regular Spectre, which is obviously had its problems. I believe it was like the Spectre Sapphire or something like that. That was an overseas release, and now being used in the Revenant. This was the 17th strongest core out of 29 cores, so it's everything on this ball is a little bit on the weaker side. However, RG is 254 and differential is 050, which tells me that it's not necessarily a weak core, but it's not necessarily a strong core either, or not necessarily a weak ball, not necessarily a strong ball, kind of right in that middle range. So as you can see here, we're doing a lot of striking here, and this is going to be the last shot going for 300 in a ball review. Obviously have not done this before. Looked good, and absolutely buried that one for 300 with the Revenant. Again, haven't done that before in a ball review, so glad I was able to do it for you guys. This ball is really something special. I was throwing the ball fairly well that night, as you'll see in the next game as well, with the Axiom Pearl. But yeah, there it is, 300 with the Revenant. Now we're going to dive into this Axiom Pearl. So obviously this is another storm ball, so it does have a scent. It's a peppermint. This ball, I got this one on back order, so maybe the scent wasn't exactly very strong anymore. I personally can't really smell the peppermint in it, but maybe you guys can if you have an Axiom Pearl. So this cover is the NEX Pearl cover stock. This was the 4th time it was used and the one and only time stateside. Because this was the one and only time stateside, there was no NEX Pearl on kind of the chart that I have. However, NEX, the regular NEX is the strongest cover that Storm has, so I'm going to guess that this Pearl is probably close to or similar to what that REX is, which that REX is the 3rd strongest cover. So either way, I would say this Pearl cover stock is probably, I would say closer to the top than it is the bottom. It's probably very, very strong. So comes out of box at a 1500 grit polish. This was obviously that old polish before Storm, kind of discontinued that 1500 grit polish and went with that React Gloss. So the core in here is the orbital core. It was used 3 times, twice stateside, obviously, in the Axiom and the Axiom Pearl. It is the 16th strongest core out of 29 cores. RG of 248, differential of 050, so the differential on both balls are the same. However, the RG is 6 points lower on the Axiom Pearl than it is the Revenant, which tells me that the Axiom Pearl is just going to roll a little bit earlier than what that Revenant is. And I think you can kind of see it. The Axiom is kind of more end over end, and the Revenant, kind of gets sideways a little bit more, which can be good, could be bad, depends on what kind of ball roll you're looking for. So here again, you're gonna see again these balls both were rolling really, really well. This is for number 12. So I went back to back 300s. First game with the Revenant, second game with the Axiom Pearl. As you can see, this is indeed the second game, so there was no practice in between. I didn't do anything. It was literally 24 in a row here with the Revenant and the Axiom Pearl. So my plan was after the 2 games, I was going to go down and bowl on a sports shop, but I mean, obviously I had to keep throwing on this lane. The streak ended at 24 with a flat 10 here with the Revenant. So one thing I did notice with this Revenant, as I mentioned, I did hit it with some 2000 just to get it to roll just a little bit earlier. It was going a hair long, so I hit it with some 2000, and then just let it kind of shine up. So once I kind of threw that first game and started the second game here, as you can see, I went light both the first and second frame. So I would think at this point I probably would have put the ball down, probably would have switched to something that's a little bit more early rolling, or if I had the option to kind of hit it with some surface at this point, I probably would have hit it with 2000 again. I tried throwing it last night at League after I hit it with some 3000. That 3000 just wasn't quite strong enough, wasn't quite able to kind of take that shine off. So again, I think before I use the Revenant again, I'm probably going to hit it with a 2000 pad just to kind of get it to see the friction a little better. Now the other thing is, I was bowling on, this isn't exactly a fresh league shot. I bowled on this after a women's league. Now they had a blind, so really there was only
12 games thrown on, or I'm sorry, 16 games thrown on this pair. However, again, like I said, I would hit this ball with some surface, probably some 2000, try and get it to shape just a little earlier because once it does shine up, it does have a tendency to go a little long, especially when you get the ball out kind of like that, and it just never has the opportunity to come back. So either way, this Revenant is really, really good. I would say it's fairly similar to that Spectre. I think the Spectre is probably just a little bit stronger off the spot than what this Revenant is. This Revenant, it sees the friction. It doesn't really overreact off the friction. It does kind of bounce, but it doesn't quite bounce as hard as what that Spectre does. But it is a fairly close in comparison to what that Spectre was. It's certainly, in the same tier list. It's certainly on the same tier. It's certainly, I wouldn't exactly call it the same exact 100% same exact ball. Like I said, I think the Spectre is just a little bit stronger off the spot than the Revenant, but they're close enough that if you had a Spectre and you want to get something similar again, the Revenant I certainly think is a good choice. So we're gonna go back here to the Axiom. I stood in the same spot that I did the other game for the Axiom, and again, I think the oil just carried down just a little bit, and was able to leave that 2-pin there. But if we're gonna look up at the score, you guys, well, it does the math for you, but I had a 819 while filming for the Revenant.
What else do you say but wow? I mean, that ball, obviously the second game was a little bit different. I think the oil just kind of pushed down just a hair, caused this ball not to read, and we'll kind of get into, what to do if that does happen to your Revenant. But first impressions are wow. I would say the Revenant is very, very similar to what that Spectre was. I think it's actually better than what the Spectre was, like on house shots, at least, our in-house house shot. I could never really use the Spectre on that. I've been using the Revenant, and I've been averaging, I don't know, 240 with it. So Revenant is the real deal. Who is the Revenant for? And I would certainly say everyone. I would say this is a true benchmark pearl. This ball shapes really, really well. It gets through the pins really, really well. And as I mentioned before, I think the oil pushed down a little bit. I think the Revenant just got maybe a hair shiny, maybe a hair slimy. So I would say if I were to run into that position, I would say if I'm going to use that ball in league tonight, I'll probably hit it with either a 2,000 or a 3,000 pad. I'm not exactly sure which one I would hit it with at this point in time. I'll probably make a decision tonight. Probably leaning towards 3,000. And if it shines up maybe a little bit too easy, I'll probably hit it with a 2,000 before I bowl next time with it. So just to get it to read a hair earlier, you could tell that core wanted to set up a little bit, but I think the surface kind of led to maybe maybe to it pushing just a hair down there. So just hit it with some surface. I know reactive gloss is maybe a hit and miss right now with some people. I would say if you don't like the reactive gloss, don't be afraid to hit it with maybe some 2,000 just to really try and get that kind of film, that reactive gloss finish off. And then just let it lane shine back up, and I think you'll be sitting pretty good. So don't let that reactive gloss kind of shy you away from any of the Storm products. Especially the pearls. I think once you knock it off, if you don't like it, I know there's a lot of people that really, really do like the reactive gloss finish, but if you don't like it, don't be afraid just to hit it. I know they say that they put that as a surface for a reason, and certainly they do. They're very, very intelligent over there, especially in the R&D department. But, if it's not really suiting your game, again, don't be afraid just to hit it with some surface. So are you getting a Revenant? Let me know down in the comments down below. I might not have this out until the actual release date, or maybe a hair after. So if you have a Revenant already, let me know. Are you getting one? Let me know. Up next, we have the TNT and the Eternity. TNT is from Rotogrip. Eternity is from 900 Global. I do have some other videos planned. I haven't really been able to get a chance to get to them. I'm trying to put out a video every week for you guys. But anyways, regardless of that, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Until the next time, good luck and good bowling.